Welcome back. Still tuned into Power Breakfast on CNBC-TV18. This is our Power Prep segment now, and our research team is joining us to tell us how the trade setup looks like today, the stocks that are likely to be in the news, and the action from the F&O space as well. Hey guys, a very good morning to all of you. Sonia, let me come across to you first up. A lot of cues to reckon with overnight.
Oh, absolutely. And the big global headline, right? After years of falling stock prices, the Swiss regulator has finally decided that Credit Suisse cannot perhaps remain as a standalone bank. And now UBS has decided to buy Credit Suisse for $3.2 billion in order to stem the crisis there. The Swiss regulators, in addition, will also provide $108 billion of liquidity assurance. Now, for now, of course, the Dow futures are in the green, but there are still lingering concerns about what's happening, both with respect to the US as well as the European banks. And that's why you saw a big fall in the US markets on Friday. And that's perhaps the reason our own markets as well could be under pressure. There is a pullback that the street is expecting, but that could be feeble given the kind of concerns that we have. Now, First Republic Bank in the US, the shares were down 33% despite a $30 billion support. The shares of First Republic Bank are down 80% in the last 10 days. Also, in our own markets, it's been 7 straight days of FI. Selling FI sold almost 9,030 crores in the last 7 days. Now, remember, the Nifty has lost almost 4.5% just in the last 1 month. And the next level to watch on the downside, if the selling pressure resumes, is the September 2022 low of 16,818. All eyes will also be on the FOMC policy that comes out on the 21st and 22nd of March. Of course, there's an expectation of a 25 basis points rate hike, but I'll be watching out for any cues from the US Fed on how they plan to stem the crisis in the banking sector that we've seen. So, that will perhaps be paramount in terms of an agenda for the US FOMC. Apart from that, for our own markets this morning, it could be very volatile as news flow evolves with respect to what's happening with Credit Suisse. Back to you.
Yes, that's the big story that we are tracking. Thank you, Sonia, for all those cues. But a lot of stocks that will be in focus as well. Abhishek has that list.
Well, to begin with, the NCLT has approved SDFC Bank, SDFC Limited merger. RBI, on the other hand, has fined rupees 5 lakh to SDFC Limited for non-compliance with NHB or National Housing Bank norms. So, Cadfin has appointed Mr. Suresh Iyer as MD and CEO. Remember that Mr. Suresh Iyer had joined Bandhan on account of the merger of Groove with Bandhan and was serving as the housing finance head over there. Sun Pharma, the Concert Pharma announces data from its phase 3 clinical trial of Thrive AA2. Data shows that there is scalp hair regrowth in one of the areas. So CMAC Limited, they are holding a board meet on 22nd of March to consider a merger or demerger of the company and HAL Offshore Limited, the unlisted holding company of the company. So SJVN, they have got a letter of approval from Maharashtra government for 200 megawatt of solar power projects to be set up in the state of Maharashtra. Cochin Shipyard, they have bagged order worth rupees 550 crore for 2 vessels. RVNL, they have emerged as the lowest bidder for new BG railway line of HORC project. This is worth about 1,089 crore. And Torrent Pharma, they have got a US FDA pre-approval inspection of oral oncology manufacturing facility that they have in Gujarat. Back to you.
Okay, all right. Those are all the stocks in focus. Thanks for that, Abhishek. In fact, the Adani Group will also be in focus. They have suspended work on their 34,900 crore rupee petrochemical project in Gujarat. This is according to a PTI report quoting sources. The company has reportedly also suspended plans to raise 14,000 crore rupees for the project. Responding to a CNBC-TV18 query, an Adani spokesperson also said that Adani Enterprises would be evaluating status of growth projects in primary industry vertical over coming months. The move comes as the group looks to re-evaluate projects based on cash flow and availability of finance in the fallout of Hindenburg's short seller report. Well, that's all about the stocks and news. Nigel is joining in with all the cues from the F&O space this morning. Hey, Nigel.
Well, morning, Sonal. The last couple of days, the Nifty went around 16,850, 16,950 and bounced from there. So the question is, in the near term, the bulls would like to know that they've made a bit of a near-term bottom. Let's see whether or not that plays out. But the FIs, well, we had a relief rally on Friday, but they continue shorting the index. They added more than 6,000 short contracts. The short positioning, it's the highest that I've ever seen. Added around 90% odd. It's when the pandemic broke out, at that point of time as well, it had gone for a couple of sessions to around the 90%, so they net short on the index. But the options data is a little bit encouraging. They bought closer around 4 calls for every 1 put. And the bigger positive for me is that they wrote more puts than calls. So they wrote closer around 3 puts for every one call that they wrote. And just take a look at that. Close to around 1.2 lakh puts were written. What were they writing? It appears the 17,100 put as well as the 17,000 put. Both of them saw a high amount of open interest. However, on the upside, you're likely to be seeing some selling pressure because the 17,200 put premiums around 85 rupees out there. In all probability, that is writing out there, which brings us to the levels. Well, on the upside, 17,280 around 17,300, going by the action we saw at around the 17,200 call. While on the downside, the recent lows should support to some extent. The SGX Nifty suggesting a bit of a pullback, close to around 80-90 points the last time I checked. But maybe at some point of time, we could see the shorts getting squeezed. So was that a flash in the pan that we saw on Friday? Well, time will tell. But for today, I think maybe risk reward, if you get a 100-point downtick, could be in favor of the bulls.
Okay, all right. Thank you guys for joining us and telling us what to look out for in the trading session today. It is going to be an important one. Well, that's the Power Prep segment. With that, we'll slip into a short break. We'll get you all the cues from the commodities market after this.